Chris, might want to unmute yourself there. This is a heck of a start to a show. We did it again. Did it again.
We did it. We always start out on the right foot here. Let's go. Welcome in, guys. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend, everything all under the sun. Welcome to the Action Lab, the premier sports and entertainment talk show on Twitch. It's like chatting sports with your friends in your family room, except your friends are all over the world.
And sometimes they're muted.
Sometimes they don't have a voice.
No big deal.
Andrew, what's up with a bang?
What's up, Andy? How you doing?
What's going on? How are we doing tonight? So welcome in. We have a big show tonight. Scotty, you just got in from a long road trip. You were out there with the fam. You were kicking it with the little family reunion, right? You had the kiddos. You had all your side of the family heading out to Kansas, Missouri.
Which is it? Chris?
Missouri, right? Kansas,
is it? Kansas, Missouri. Yeah, we had a little family reunion. Road tripped out on Thursday. Came back today, so I got back like, I don't know, 2 hours ago, roughly. So feeling great, Chris. I love those road trips, but we had a good time. Just seeing some fam, catching up, and it's not exactly relaxing when you have young kids, but it was good to see everybody. And by the way, Chris, Kansas side, just to be clear.
Okay.
No Missouri. And chairman of the board, Scotty, looking like Kiefer Sutherland with the fresh cut. Ouch. I mean, why do we always jump to people that are older than me? Can't we do, like, what about a young buck? I forgot who I got compared to last show. I still don't know who that is. Some YouTube 80. I'm a younger version of some like 58-year-old or something. Thanks.
Yeah, you got compared to a rando that I've never heard of in my life. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't figure it out. Justin Bieber? No. Jack Vale.
I'll take Biebs.
Jack Vale. That's who it was. Yeah, there we go.
I just did this because G Girl said I've never not worn a hat on our show. So here I am. No hat.
Proving them all wrong.
For my old age, the hair's still there. My hair has not gone anywhere. Like some friends I know, Andy, have lost a little bit. But you know, I'm still rocking the same haircut I've had for the last, I don't know, roughly 30 years, Chris.
Calling you out, Andrew. Calling you out. Yeah, no, I don't really change my hairstyle. Once in a while, I'll buzz my head. You've seen me do that before.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen too often, but once in a while, I'll just take the one clippers and just buzz the whole thing. It's actually amazing because I don't have to worry about my hair. I get out of the shower, it dries instantly. It's fantastic. I need to just do that again. And I save all that money. Save that money. I do it on my own. The wifey helps me with the back, make sure I don't have streaks. It's good. It's good.
Oh, I when you said helps with the back, I thought she was buzzing your back for you. Get a little. Do you have some back hair issues?
I don't got.
I mean, it's okay.
No,
it's okay.
You know what's? I am a lucky enough guy to not have to worry, and props to everyone out there who has to deal with it. I give you all the love in the world because, I mean, it sounds daunting. It sounds really like a lot. So, I have some friends who have like a sweater underneath their shirts, and they have to. Not great. Let's see. What do we got in the chat? We got a lot of things coming. Everyone's pouring into the chat real quick tonight. We have everyone popping in. Andrew, Moon Princess, Chairman, Cuban, Big Duggets, G Girl, what's up? Football Wife, Andrew, yeah, all of you guys. Thank you so much for popping in. Let's see. We already have a thank you for Chairman for the 6 months for the resub for 6 months. Appreciate that.
That is half a year.
There we go. Love it.
If I projected that out right.
Let's see. What else do we got here? If you can't say something nice about the Browns, other than Nick Chubb, we gotta.
Didn't we do this? Didn't we do this last show? But I said Nick Chubb, and now
okay. yeah. Cloud's just trying to get us. He's just testing us now.
Adding like layers to the, finding something positive about the Browns.
Positive note: they might not have to worry about any disputes at the running back position because we got people asking for trades. You got all sorts. So good news for the Browns, and something nice about the Browns: you don't have to worry about a running back battle. Well, at least
Hunt's not happy.
yeah.
Kareem the Dream wants out, which is I don't know, that guy has his own issues. But
is this part? Of like
what do I say? I don't want to say anything nice. I hope they fall flat on their face every game this year. But especially, I kind of want the Browns. Obviously we did have an appeal, Chris. That happened after our last show. The NFL did officially appeal, so we'll see what happens with the suspension and whether it gets extended from the 6 games it's currently at. But if let's say it goes like 8 or 10, there's a part of me that really wants the Browns to start out let's say it's 8 games and they go like 6-2, and then Deshaun comes back and they just shit the bed. How great would that be? That'd be phenomenal.
That would be pretty sick. Mackie, what's up? Is this trade request thing? Is he trying to capitalize on everyone else trying to trade request in other sports? And he's like, oh, everyone, Kevin Durant, I want to take advantage of my trade request. I just want out. And then the Browns are like, nope.
I don't know that Kareem Hunt has a lot of pull.
Exactly. It's like it's hilarious.
And what's weird is he's a local boy there. Like he's from Ohio, went to Toledo, I think. It was either Akron or Toledo for college. I should know that since we drafted him with the Chiefs. But anyway, it's like me requesting a trade, Chris. Like I like to trade Twitch streams, and everyone will be like, I don't give a damn.
I'll trade
You're
you.
Stuck.
Trade you for G Girl straight up. I mean, Chairman's got a lot of similar opinions. Maybe I just trade you for him.
I mean, hey. I don't know what else you got to add in to make that a fair trade because Chairman's far superior to me. So, whoever Chairman's stream gets a big downgrade. In that scenario.
It's a big downgrade from a fantasy perspective. You just can't. I mean, it will be a little bit of a setback. Let's just put it out there. Welcome in, everybody. You guys, everyone else is still trickling in. We are going to be talking some fantasy football tonight, guys. And I have. Before we get into that, real quick, we don't have any other major stories, and we might mix in some stories as we're talking through some of these tiers. So we'll have some fun with it. And what we'll do is we are going to just hit fantasy football hard. We're going to hit it hard tonight and the rest of this we'll hit stories on Wednesday. We're not doing anything fancy with any, extra, I'm not doing why it matters tonight because we want to focus on the fantasy football. We got to get going on all of our fantasy leagues that we're going to be putting together. We're going to be making sure we're set for all of our pick'ems and our survivors. Again, all of which will be free to enter, and you will be able to win some sweet prizes. So make sure, if you are not already, follow on Discord. I will put the Discord link, !Discord, in the chat. So there you go. There's the link. You will need, if you want to be a part of our fantasy football league, you have to be in our Discord. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's one of the stipulations. Speaking of butts, I did something.
I don't even know where this is headed. What?
So
butt implants? Did you get some implants?
I had a late night. on Saturday. You love where this is going. It was a late night, and we're talking about butts. I just got on some command trains, and I just started messing around with commands. So if someone can type into the chat, !hold on, I want to see if this works. !hold on.
Hold on to your butts.
There it is. Hold on to your butts. There it is.
Oh. And I can't hear it.
And you can't hear it. It's fine.
I bet it sounds great, Chris. I bet it sounds great.
But one day it'll be possible. !possible. Can you guys do that? !possible.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
There we go.
I'm literally gonna have to rewatch this part of our stream after the fact to be like, what the hell is going on right now? I hear nothing.
We have the Anything is Possible by Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible. We added that as the sound drop for you guys to do. ! They're on cooldown, so you gotta do them every so often. So just keep in mind on that. I don't even know what the cooldown is on these, but I'm trying to put.
Did you say that our fantasy leagues are free? I thought there was just it's like an entry fee. It doesn't go towards the pot for the year, but just to be in the league, you got to pay $100. That goes to us, obviously, per entry. And there's no stakes at the end. We'll get you a t-shirt if you win. How about that? Little t-shirt, little Action Lab swag.
Oh,
let's go.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, we could do that. All right. So we got !hold on, !possible. So just you can include those. We have something. We are getting back to Sunday Night Football, which means we have bingo! !bingo in the chat. Let's test it out. Nothing. Maybe not. That one's not working yet. We'll figure that one out. Thank you, Moon Princess. We'll figure that one out.
Sounded good to me.
It sounded great to you. We also have, and I've been messing around with some of these others as well. Let's see. !watch time. Try that one. !watch time.
People are going to have to start writing all these down.
Oh, there we go. Moon Princess has been watching for 0. So I don't know.
That sounds wrong, Chris.
It sounds wrong. We'll figure it out. I'm messing around with these. We're playing with around. !followage doesn't work either. So we're trying to get going on some of these.
Hey,
you don't know until you try.
Let's give it up for Chris, though. Hey.
Nice.
Well done. Hold on to your butts. One works. So
yeah, we got butts
nice.
And we got possible. Anything is possible. See?
Yeah.
Hey, let's give.
We got some applause.
Maybe the next thing I need is a golf clap. I'll add that.
5 fingers.
Yeah.
Say to the face.
Let's go. We have all of the things going. All right. Well, thanks for helping us.
That.
I'll drink to that. We got everything happening tonight. All right. Well, so yeah, we'll keep tweaking. We'll keep figuring it all out, but we'll have some fun with all that stuff. So we're gonna do some cool things with that. But ! lurk. Does that one work? Actually, ! lurk.
That one sounds creepy.
Thanks, Moon Princess. Continue to sort. Yeah, that one works. Okay. All right. There we go. Boom. All right.
Just if someone doesn't want to chat, but then they do have to chat in order to let you know that they're lurking in the chat.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
Roger.
Roger.
See, unknown 2324 was trying it. I didn't know they were in the chat. They're totally unknown, Chris.
Oh man, and guys, if you guys want some other cool commands, let me know in the chat. We can like mess around and play with them a little bit and have some fun with it. You know, we
Andrew, what did exclamation point Cowboys do? That's gotta be a good one.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh, little Jerry Jones.
Little Jerry Jones. There we go. Hello, guys. Unknown. How are y'all? We are doing fantastic. We are just getting rolling here. We're doing some testing on some commands and gonna get into some fantasy football. So, Scotty, yeah, we have a lot coming down the pipeline here. I think we will have fantasy league information, in-depth information, and all of our contest information ready for you. Do we want to have that ready by this Wednesday, Scotty?
We should. I mean, there were a lot of people in the Discord the last couple days asking like details, and we're just kind of like,
yeah,
we got to figure that out.
So
but
we are going to get that.
When we talk tonight, we can talk through what some preferences people have as far as PPR, point PPR, no PPR, standard league, like things of that nature.
Yeah, and we will try to get as many people in.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts. That's right.
Let's go.
We got the commands rolling. So originally we were gonna see if we were gonna make it, and I was talking to Reckoning. Reckoning's helping us put it all together here. So for our fantasy league, we're gonna start out with basic. You got to be following our channel. You got to be following on Twitch. You have to be in our Discord. And there might be one other stipulation like following our TikTok, or I don't know, something weird. We're trying to figure this out. But if we get too many people who have all of those things, and we have like 100 people that want to play in Fantasy League, we're going to step it up to subscriptions for the channel as well. But we're going to see what everything looks like first, and then kind of go from there. But
it'll end up being just a heads up league, you and me, Chris.
It could be
battling it out.
It'll just be me and you.
And every show, all stream is just, summarize where we're at in fantasy football against each other with no one else in the league. Teams will be good, though.
Yeah.
Teams will be good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Let me go ahead and check this. Oh, that's why it's not. Okay, hold on. I got to fix something real quick. I didn't know there were user cooldowns on some of these exclamation points, so we're gonna just adjust those so you could do them as many times. They're just on a cooldown. So let me adjust those for you so you could do anything as possible as many times as you want. Drink bingo. Bingo doesn't even work.
Mackey's talk. Don't get scared because I said I was joining Scotty. You don't want this smoke. I already know your player talent evaluation ability, Mackey, and I am not concerned. Is Yao Ming walking through those doors? I don't know. Tracy McGrady, they're still trash, so you can have them both. Anyway, Moon Princess is also in, so we got a couple people. I'm gonna reference that every time you're in the stream, Mackie.
And one of the reasons why we want you in our Discord is because we want to have fun with you guys, talking trash to you guys, and you guys talking trash to us, or just like having fun offline when like let's say Sunday morning rolls around or Thursday night rolls around, or any kind of we're just having fun watching the game, so we can chat you guys up a little bit and have some fun. So it'll be a lot of fun. All right, so we have a couple redemptions here, and then we're going to dive into our tier list. So I think we had a redemption here, but who was it? Can't say. If you can't say something nice about Darko Milicic. He made it to the NBA. That was he made it to the NBA. That's
the Nuggets. Him going to the Pistons at 2 allowed the Nuggets to not screw up because they would have taken him at 3, and we got Melo at least. So, thank you Detroit, and thank you Darko for existing.
There you go, McDuggets. Another one we have here is, if you can't say something nice about Jack Vale. I got one for Jack Vale. I know who he is now, kind of, and he seems great.
Is this is a positive I'm saying about him?
Yeah.
Oh, incredibly handsome for his age, Chris. Like remarkably good looking. Like one of the more attractive people I've ever seen in my life. Just saying.
Reckoning, the bot doesn't work. Yeah, we're having all sorts of issues here. But yeah, thank you so much, Reckoning. Are you interested in playing Fantasy League with Action Lab here with your boys, Scotty and Chris? Are you interested? Click. Oh, we got already a no right off the bat. No was winning 1-0 for a second there. That, got a lot.
Andrew, he's got a bounce. Love you guys. Thanks for coming in, Andy. Hope you're doing well, and appreciate you coming in. Mackie did a. If you can't say something nice, is that about? We gotta say it about Andrew.
You can't say something nice at Andrew. I don't know. I don't know much about Andrew. I'll let you carry the torch.
That's one of the nicest things you could say, Chris. I don't. This is gonna be incredibly difficult. Just kidding. I love you, bro. Andrew, maybe more than he's certainly like top 3 in my life that can get in my head and talk shit on purpose. And like I've golfed with him a few times, and I'm a disaster. And then he just tells me the whole time, so yeah, I'm sure you're good. He's very, very good at just entering into my brain and ruining any confidence I might have had.
Well, I'm just gonna piggyback off of whatever you got for me, because I wouldn't know, but sounds great to me. Sounds good to me. So okay, let's go. And don't say anything at all about Action Lab. The laundry list of how all the things we could talk trash on our show is. I mean, it's like, where do I start? Our commands don't work.
Andrew, real quick before you leave. How much better is my background now, though? How you love the wall? Look at the wall. Look at my decorations.
I'm telling you, like I said, don't say anything about Scott doesn't have a background. I can't get commands to work. I'm muted when I come on. Scott, yeah, we have so many. It's all right. That's easy.
I had forgotten about that, Andy. Thanks. I want to play horse soon. We went to college together. We played horse with like 5. There was 5 of us or whatever. And it came down somehow to me and him, and he's terrible. Just absolutely awful. Like, he has this weird shooting star form when he shoots. But he beat me that one time in horse, and he's never agreed to play since. So I don't believe you when you say you're ready to play me in horse. I think you're lying to me.
Okay, so let's dive into all the basic my CTAs, all the things that I need to get out, the housekeeping. We have 5 of you guys that are voted yes, interested. Hold on to your butts. That are interested in the Fantasy League. That means you guys need to be in the Discord if you aren't already. Join in on our Discord if you have to, if you're interested. So there's the Discord link. Make sure you join. Other ways to support the channel while we're going through our show tonight, while we're talking about fantasy football rankings for quarterbacks and running backs, make sure you guys are following the channel. Make sure you guys are participating. Like, the biggest thing is when you guys chat, it makes it that much more fun for us when we're jumping in and having fun with talking to you guys. So go ahead. I mean, if you're lurking in the background and you have a take, hey, hit us with it. We like to talk about it. We like to get to know you guys a little bit. Also, if you want to leave some bits, that's another way to support the channel. Leave a message along with the bits, and we get to hear your message live on stream. And everyone gets to hear it, and we get to have fun with it. So go ahead, you could do that as well. Moon Princess put in Twitch Prime right there. So make sure, if you link your Amazon Prime and Twitch, it's free to subscribe to one channel a month as long as you have Amazon Prime. And Scotty, how many people have Amazon Prime?
Everyone.
Everyone has.
I think legally, if you don't have Amazon Prime, we're gonna have to question what has happened in your life. What is happening in your life that you don't have Prime? Just get it, and then use it. Your free Twitch Prime.
Yep.
On us.
On us. Use it on us. There you go.
You know.
Also, if you miss a show, make sure you go. Come on, Rec.
Our own mod doesn't even have Prime. Rec. I mean, is that why your name is Reckoning? You're just a wreck, man. Get it together.
Rec.
Get yourself some Prime.
Literally anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
I don't use Amazon. All right. Convenience is no fun for you. Got it.
So, I feel like I just want to buy Amazon Prime for Rec. Is that bad? Anyways.
You buy it for him and then just make sure he uses the free Twitch Prime sub on us.
Oh my goodness. Reckoning. So, all right. Poll is closed. 6 people are interested in the Fantasy Football League. Go ahead. Join the Discord. Join the Discord now so you can be a part of it if you want to be a part of it. So, Football Wife keeps Amazon Prime in business. So there's...
Well, I think all wives do.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Countless boxes. And I'm like, what's in this one? She's like, I don't know.
If
We're
you
gonna open it up and see.
If you guys happen to miss a show or miss portions of the show, we have all of our shows on all of our podcast networks. So Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Amazon, you name it. We're on everything. So make sure you go and check out all the latest episodes that you may have missed. That includes all the coming in hots. That includes all that. We post all of our videos and all our clips on YouTube. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel because, hey, I'm up till late putting those on there. And, hey, if as long as someone's watching them, like, hey, it makes me feel good. Makes me feel like it's worth it, right? But no, we have all those things there for you guys. And then you could always use those against us too. Like, hey, remember when Scotty said, remember when Chris did this? You can always go back and check those moments out as well. So, anything I'm missing there, Scotty?
I don't think so, Chris, but I'm also not the best person to ask.
Last thing, Thrive Fantasy, ! Thrive in the chat, is a way you can play some fantasy, over-unders in your favorite sports, especially when football season is coming up. You have a match upwards of... Hey, thank you, Football Wife. Let's go.
Acting like she's buying from Amazon right now.
She's doing some
With all
Amazon
these
shopping.
Gifted subs. Thank you so much, Football Wife. We got some new subs now with Whiskey Bravo, Fireball, Andrew T-Rob, KB Pitt, and Roast Shocker.
Welcome into
Let's
the Action
go.
Lab Rat family once again. Thank you, Football Wife. That means the world. Appreciate that. Football Wife, you're the best. You're the best.
And I keep meaning to mention, though, that Moon Princess's gift. Did you tell me what it was, Chris?
I did not. Moon Princess, do you care if I say what it is on stream?
Or do you want it off stream? Because she said if not, she'll message me, DM me.
Oh, yeah,
get in my DMs.
You can say it on stream.
You can say on stream.
Actually,
what is it, Chris?
So remember when
when
she was like doing the whole
wanted the logo.
Yeah, wanted the logo. She's putting together a nice little piece for us with her cross stitching is what it was, right? And she's doing that with some Action Lab logo assets that we sent over. So we're might have some fun things that she's gonna put together for us when it comes to some fan art that we're gonna be able to go check out soon.
All right,
she's gonna cross stitch it for us, so that is gonna be so sweet. It's gonna be.
I'm ready for it,
and
I'm ready to check it out.
We appreciate that, Moon Princess.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
That's super cool. So, and if you guys are out in the San Diego area, we are looking to get to TwitchCon coming up. So make sure you guys hit us up if you're out in that area. Otherwise, that's all I got. That's what we have here. So let's dive in. Scotty, we're diving into, we just finished our division wrap up. We talked about all the divisions and what we're looking for in each division from the team perspective. Now, fantasy's a little different, right? We talked a lot about maybe, hey, we're not a big fan of Lamar Jackson when it comes to playoff time or when it comes to this, but hey, he's kind of good in fantasy, right? He's a little bit better in fantasy when it comes to maybe prioritizing him as even though we talk a lot of trash on Lamar Jackson. We do. But he can put up some fantasy points, right?
I don't know if it's him or Kyler Murray more right now, but yeah.
So we're going to dive into all of those fantasy tier lists. Now, these tier lists, they're very subjectable. You could get different tier lists with like Fox Sports and ESPN and Yahoo and you name it. Everyone's got their own list. So these, I put these together. I like the Ringer has a nice little resource center for some of their rankings. I kind of go off of their tier list a little bit. They have some great podcasts, by the way. Go check out the Ringer podcast if you have not already. I did that for the draft, the NFL draft, when I was preparing for that, and it was insanely entertaining and helpful when it came to NFL content and everything. So make sure go check out them at some point. But so yeah, when you go look at your fantasy, you guys are going to be doing a lot of this in the next few weeks, obviously injuries and all sorts of training camp and preseason games. You're going to be keeping an eye on people. So we're going to dive into quarterbacks tonight, and we're going to dive into running backs tonight, and we're going to try to make sure you guys know kind of who we think might rise to the top when it comes to some of these rankings and some of these lists. So let's go ahead. We're going to start out with quarterbacks on this tier list, and we're going to go down tier by tier. Quarterbacks are a little less substantial than the running backs. I mean, there's
fewer of them. What do you mean?
We're just not going to have as many tiers and many players as we do for. It's not as, we'll have like 3 or 4 tiers for the quarterbacks, but we're going to have like 6 tiers for the running backs, and we're probably going to have like 6 or 7 for the wide receivers. It's just like some of those skill positions.
I'm dying. Sorry.
Don't you go dying on me. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull this up and let's jump into quarterbacks. All right. So 2022 quarterbacks. Let's get it. By the way, if you guys, if you have quarterbacks that you're interested in, throw them in the chat. We can talk about them, and we can make sure that you guys, we get them all covered. But let's start.
Weird that you put 3 quarterbacks and a running back on there, Chris. It's a weird preview pick.
Yeah. I mean, wait, Lamar's a quarterback? Or he's a running. Oh wait, what?
I think he might be a running back, right?
he kind of slots into a couple different areas here. But quarterback rankings. Let's dive into the first tier here. Now, I kind of break these down a little bit. All right, tier one in quarterbacks. When you're looking at these guys, tier 1 are like the Ferraris, Scotty. They're like the Ferraris. You pay a huge price, right? But they're going to be awesome. They're going to be really good. Like, these guys are going to be, you drive them off the lot feeling good, right? So these are guys that you should expect to have at least 20 points each week. You would hope. So diving into this tier 1, we got 5 names here. We got Allen Jackson. That's a country star, by the way. We got Allen. We got Jackson from Baltimore. We got Patrick Mahomes. We got Justin Herbert. And we got Kyler Murray.
Let's go.
31 days. Yeah, the countdown. 31 days, 18 hours, 7 minutes, and 21 seconds on the Football Wife's official countdown to kickoff. We're almost.
That's a month, Chris. That's a month.
We're a month.
31
away.
days from actual football, not the Hall of Fame game, which you'll notice we did not talk about because it doesn't need to be spoken of. But McDuckets already is he's disgusted with this list.
So these guys, all right, keep in mind. All right, I said, these guys should be shoo-ins for about 20 points each per week. You would think, right? I mean, and a lot of these guys can do it multiple ways. You have Lamar, you got Murray, you got Herbert, you got Mahomes. I mean, all of these guys can do it with their feet, some better than others. But these guys are going to be production monsters for you, right? As long as they're playing, as long as they're healthy, they should be in great shape. Lamar only had under 20 points once all last season. Kyler Murray, 6 times under 20 points. Allen, 5 times under 20 points. Herbert, 7 times under 20 points. And Mahomes, 6 times under 20 points. They're single digits, and they're always going to be getting you high output each and every single week. Scotty, which one on this list really stands out to you as like a guy that, I mean, obviously we talked, like I said, a lot of trash on Lamar Jackson, but if he's around, you're looking at Lamar Jackson and saying, I'm taking that points output based off the running game.
First half of the first round, I'm like, Lamar Jackson, let's roll, baby. Let's roll. No, like I said, Chris, this is so awkward because these people that we're telling our thoughts to are going to be in a league with us potentially and just steal all my guys. Like, I feel awkward doing this. Quarterback, I'll be honest though, quarterback to me has never been a important position to me in fantasy as far as grabbing one early. I've done it before and it seems to not work out for me. Now I've seen it work out for people, but it's never worked out well for me.
See, that's a great point. And I want to talk to you about a little bit about that on like your strategy with quarterbacks, because you have these guys in the first round that are potentially going to be coming off latter end of the first round, depending on how far you draft. So when it comes to strategy, Scotty, what are you looking for when it comes to, quarterbacks and how you approach drafting a quarterback? Obviously, the first half of the first round is going to be heavily in wide receivers and running backs. It's got to be. But when do you start looking at what position in the first round do you start looking at quarterback, like one of these guys?
Me personally,
Yeah.
they don't even exist.
Ooh,
They don't exist in the first round for me.
Right.
I would not, and maybe I'm just tricking everybody. I don't know. Well, you guys will just have to wait and find out. But no, in the first round, I wouldn't pick a quarterback at all. I don't care. And frankly, because you look at this tier 1, and there's not one guy that even separates himself completely, that you're like, that guy for sure is QB1 in fantasy football this year. Like, it could be Allen, it could be any of these 5 guys. Murray would surprise me. But these other 4, like, I know I hate on Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson in the first half of last year, keep in mind they had a ton of injuries, was still the number 4 fantasy quarterback in the league. And that was like his worst fantasy season ever last year. So with more health and bouncing back, and Hollywood Brown not dropping passes or going to jail on his roster anymore, I think Lamar, and you touched on it, Lamar's consistent. He may not have the game where he gets you 60 because he's not throwing touchdowns left or right or whatever, but he's gonna get you rushing yards every single game, and he'll be consistent where he's dropping you 20 some every game just because of the rushing threat and the ability to run with him. So and he can blow up. I mean, when he won the MVP, he was not only the MVP of the league, is MVP for fantasy football owners. If you had Lamar Jackson that year and didn't win your league, you were terrible at drafting otherwise, because he absolutely dominated. So Mackie D, Mahomes is the worst fantasy wise on this list. No, Murray is for me. But listen, Mahomes, everyone doesn't think Mahomes can run, and he doesn't run. He's not as fast as anyone on this list, but he's effective at picking up first downs. We'll see without Tyreek Hill. For him, it's going to come down to touchdowns. He needs to throw 40 plus touchdowns, and I think he will, to be worth it. And I think he will, as long as he stays healthy. So I think he's a perfectly solid pick. A lot of tiers I've seen is Allen at 1. I get it, but part of me is like, Buffalo and some of these games don't need to pour it on. Like, they're going to be playing some teams that maybe can't keep up anyway, and they can kind of rest in the second half, or quite frankly, Allen, for everything he did in the playoffs in those 2 games last year where he was remarkable, he was inconsistent at times last year in the regular season. In fact, he didn't have as good of a regular season last year as he did 2 seasons ago. So that's not me hating at all. I mean, we had Allen as number 2 in our QB rankings, so I think he's incredible. And if he does what he did in the playoffs, then like, good night, he's number 1 all day. But he's a little inconsistent at times. Some weeks that accuracy that was his main concern coming out creeps up on him, and he doesn't quite have it going.
Yeah, and you mentioned Mahomes on this list, which is fascinating because I was looking at fantasy lists, Scotty, and I was looking at the running back lists. Clyde, like, they don't have anybody in the top echelon of the top 2 or 3 tiers when it comes to running backs, or in some of these lists. They don't. I looked at the wide receivers. The top KC wide receiver on some of these lists is like 2nd or 3rd tier, and it's like, it's so fascinating to me to think how prolific an offense is of Andy Reid. Andy Reid, who's 15 of the last 20 years, has been inside the top 10 in offense when it comes to ranking in the NFL. And Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback potentially in the NFL, in this top echelon, in his top tiers. And they don't have weapons that are ranked in fantasy from a top 2 or 3 tier perspective. It's kind of crazy to think about. Like,
Well, pump the brakes a little. One, they have tight end 1.
Well,
so,
I mean, I was mainly running back and wide receivers.
Running back and wide receiver. I get that, but they have tight end 1. And the problem with the running backs and wide receivers with KC is, like, you don't know. Like, I literally have no clue as a Chiefs fan who's going to be the number 1 fantasy wide receiver on the Chiefs. Like, it could be Juju, could be Valdez Scantling, could be Mecole Hardley, could be the rookie Sky Moore. Like any of those 4 guys could do it, but he's going to spread the ball around. And that's the problem. And the running backs, kind of the same. They have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They signed Ronald Jones in the offseason. You still have Jerick McKinnon, who played well down the stretch last year. And then they drafted a 7th-round rookie, Isaiah Pacheco, who has been incredible in camp. So I'm like, I don't know at the running back position who's going to stand out. Like, I want it to be Pacheco. Like, I hope it's him because I think he has the most upside because he's the fastest of all of them. But he's also a rookie and probably doesn't have the blocking and things of that nature to get a ton of snaps. But it's just all across the board. Like, they're going to spread it around, and that's why they're not featuring one guy like they did with Tyreek.
Yeah, football wife. Why is Shortcakes Murray on the list? I think the upside of his running abilities kind of make him. Here's that. I kind of was like back and forth whether or not I wanted him on tier 1 for tier 2, but the upside that he has with an offense that I think can potentially, with output and how he moves around the football field, you can argue him dropping down to that second tier. Definitely,
I think he is second tier for me. Real quick, because I looked at this a couple weeks ago and I found it interesting. Last year, rushing yards for Patrick Mahomes, if I can find it. Sorry. He had 381 yards rushing last year. Kyler Murray. Sorry. This is just captivating as I look this up. So what did I say? 381 for Mahomes? Kyler Murray, 423. They were separated by 23 plus 19, Chris, 42 yards.
Still
rushing.
Yeah.
And now Kyler didn't play in every game, but still, it's not like he was a game breaker at the running back position last year or at rushing the ball, Kyler Murray. He doesn't break a ton of long ones.
Cuban Benny, I had Mahomes last year. That was rough in fantasy, and that's to your point, Scotty. Taking a high pick on a guy up here in the first round is kind of a gamble, right? Because you don't have a lot of a difference in like separation when it comes to the first tier and second tier. The differences may not be as much as you would think. So when it comes to, drafting these guys, a lot of people say, oh, I want a number 1 quarterback I'm not going to have to worry about until I take Mahomes in their first pick. It's like the 10th pick or overall. That might not be the smartest pick because you get a guy in the second round or the third round that can pretty much almost have similar statistics. And we're talking maybe some of those ones we'll look at it here in tier 2 first in a little bit. So, you want to just evaluate and get value out of your guys. Value is the biggest thing. If you want to talk about your biggest strategy for fantasy football, it's getting value. It's getting a guy that people maybe don't feel is going to be as good, and they drop, and then all of a sudden you have, or other people get overdrafted, like these quarterbacks in the first round, and you take advantage of getting some solid top wide receivers, top running backs, so you get the value back. Just look at who week 1 versus Pittsburgh, where they got to complacent. Yeah. Dak is a good fantasy quarterback too. Great stat pattern, says Reckoning.
Yeah, if their defense is poor, he'll pour it on like he did prior to his injury. Which I don't know that their defense is going to be as good as it was last year in Dallas because they were so good at turnovers. That's hard to replicate. Mackey makes a good point. Murray without D-Hop for the first 6 games because he's suspended. That's a big loss for him too. I mean, he was gone down the stretch last year, and you saw what happened to Arizona offensively, especially. So I don't trust Kyler in the top 5 QB rankings. Now, could he finish there? Yeah, I wouldn't take him.
Yeah. So this is where we're at. I mean, again, you kind of know that these guys are pretty set, right? When it comes to being top tier. So let's go ahead. Let's see tier 2. This is a big tier. I loaded this tier up because there's a lot to break down here. And I have some high value. I have some just standard. There's the guys that I love here. There's guys that maybe not. But realistically, I'm looking at, this tier. And this is like, if the first year is like a Ferrari and you're just like driving out the lot, and you're just feeling fantastic, but you paid a lot. This is the set it and forget it group. And
which Brady do you like more?
Oh.
Say to the face. What?
Brady in Tampa or Brady in Tampa?
He's so good he gets 2 slots, or he's so old he gets 2 slots. When you get to be a certain age, ignore that. Ignore that. That's what happens when you're prepping last minute for some of your
and fun fact, Murray finds himself on this.
Don't worry about it. This is what happens when I make the graphics, Scotty. This is why you make the graphics. And actually, I liked him better on this second tier anyway. So
there we go.
This is what I'm asking. All right, so just don't worry about it. All right, this is the set it and forget it group. All right, so let's say you missed out on one of those top guys. These guys, you're happy, chilling all season long with a lot of these guys, and you're pretty happy. Now, Trey Lance here at the bottom of this is kind of one of those that is going to be a high upside kind of guy where not a lot of people will think about him being a big factor, but Kyle Shanahan's offense is going to be high powered, right? I mean, obviously he has a lot of raw talent, so that's the only reason why he's kind of creeping into the bottom of this tier 2 list. But I like a lot of the people on this. The Philadelphia is an interesting one. Jalen Hurts, I think, is kind of like, I don't know why I'm kind of high on Jalen Hurts this year. I don't know why. Like, part of me, the more and more I read, the more and more I'm just like, I mean, you picked up A.J. Brown. You got Devontae Smith. You got Miles Sanders, who can catch the ball out of the backfield and catch the ball downfield. You got, a lot. I mean, when it comes to tight end, Dallas Goedert. I mean, there's a lot to like in this Philadelphia offense. So when it comes to, Jalen Hurts, maybe a high-powered Philadelphia offense coming into this season, I kind of like where he's at. That's kind of one of the fun ones that is like, you maybe take a chance. Let's see, what else do we got here? Burrow comes in here, Brady, Wilson, Stafford. Again, a lot of these guys, you're happy if you got these guys at any point, and you're going to be starting these guys almost every single week outside of the bye week. You're going to be plugging in guys for them. But I think, Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, we've talked a lot about Minnesota having a nice, solid team here. So, Scotty, where are you at? Who do you like? Who do you not like on this list? And outside of the duplicates and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on him. My top guy on this list would probably be Jalen Hurts. And keep in mind, these are fantasy rankings, right? Like, he's not that high on my QB rankings or who he is in general, but as a fantasy QB option, he almost had 800 yards rushing last year. I think he was at 787 in rushing yards. So he's gonna give you a lot on the run, which is huge at the quarterback position in fantasy. Like, if you can get a dual threat, that's gonna help you a ton. That's why, Chris, I like Trey Lance. We had some in the chat, Mackie, and I think Reckoning agreed with them that Lance should be tier 3 here. Listen, I'm not sold on Lance as a winning quarterback, but Lance had 2 starts last year. One of the starts where he didn't even play well, he was still a top 10 fantasy quarterback that week because he too is a running threat. He's going to run the ball some. I think he's still learning to progressions and things like that. So his fail safe is going to be taken off and running, which for fantasy purposes is great. So I think Lance is a borderline top 10 QB in fantasy this year, in my opinion. I talked about Dak. Dak, keep in mind, before he got hurt a couple years ago, was throwing he led the league in passing yards because the Dallas defense was awful that year, and he had to pour it on. Like I said, Dallas's defense was better last year, but I keep watching Diggs highlights in camp of him getting absolutely smoked for long touchdowns, and I'm a little worried about that, Chris. A little worried as Cowboys my number 2. Burrow's a nice option. Burrow, surprisingly to me, finished 8th in fantasy QB ranking last year. I thought he would have been a little higher. He came on at the end because he was having 500-yard games towards the end of the season, Chris. Ridiculous. So if he carries that momentum, and keep in mind that offensive line should be better to help him out, and he's got a ton of weapons with Chase and Higgins, but he doesn't offer you, guys that aren't going to offer you anything in the run game. Brady, Burrow, Stafford, who I think I didn't see who it was, mentioned Stafford's elbow concerns that have come up this week and what that means for him. So he's a little bit risky. Carr's not going to give you anything on the ground. Cousins isn't going to give you anything on the ground, and Rodgers is going to give you nothing on the ground. So while a lot of those guys are great quarterbacks, they're limited, and they're some of those are going to crack the top 10, but none of those guys are going to be like top 6 guys, just because they can't keep up with some of these guys who are running for 50 yards a game, and that's a lot of points already right there, Chris.
Who's going to be running the rock for San Francisco this year? It's going to be Elijah Mitchell, I think, is what they're slated to start at that point.
They scheme it up, and like they have a great offensive line, so not worried about that. So
and again, guys, just because we like a guy or don't like a guy in like what Scotty mentioned, this is like interesting, because fantasy football, you take off your normal statistical goggles of like what a guy can do for a team and win, and like what their team can do, and you put on a individual performance, what he can do on the field when it comes to his legs, like when it comes to running the ball, when it comes to throwing the ball, when it comes to the weapons out there. So like they could lose every game, but they could be putting stats up too. Like, so just because when it comes to fantasy football, you got to change the mindset of just your typical normal fandom of like a team, or like your thoughts of a team or a player, and put on your independent fantasy football goggles and say, hey, this guy's going to put up raw numbers, regardless of how I feel about him, i.e. Lamar Jackson, and he's going to win a fantasy football league for me. So that's just the way you should look at these tiers, right? When you're saying like, oh, Lance, he's definitely not as good as these other guys. Well, we'll see at the end of this fantasy football season how well he gravitates towards that top echelon of points standings when it comes to getting you what you need to win each and every week. What else do we got here? Pains me to ask, but Wilson's health is questionable.
Or is it questionable? I just don't think Russell, to me now, and it doesn't seem, he's not the run threat he was earlier on in his career. I think he's much more limited in that. Like he'll run maybe a couple times a game to try and pick up a first down on like a 3rd and 5 or less. But he's not gonna try and use his legs a lot. So I think he's limited. And Chris, I've said it, I'm a little worried. Reports in camp are that like the defense is pretty much dominated in camp. So it's going to take time. Maybe it's time. Maybe it just never does. I don't know what, the meshing of that, but I'm a little concerned.
Well, you mentioned it on the last stream too. And I do think that there's a big aspect of the learning the new playbook, the new coach, the new offense, the new system offensively. The defense has kind of been together, and I don't think they've changed as much. So, they're more in tune with, still gelling from what they've had going on, whereas the offense is just completely fresh. So you have a more versed defense versus a up-and-coming new learning offense. The defenses should be winning at this point when they're going through these reps, because, you got to learn through the mistakes offensively, things along those lines. So it'll be an interesting year for Russ, and it'll be an interesting year for Javonte, I think, mainly. But keep an eye. I think Broncos offensive players are going to be interesting. Hey!
Girl bringing in a raid of 47. Let's go. Thank you so much, G Girl. And welcome, everybody. I'll let Chris do the welcome. He's better at that than me.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. We are here live. My name is Chris. This is Scott. We are your host for the Action Lab. We're one of your most premier sports entertainment talk shows on Twitch, besides G-Girl, obviously. Chatting sports with all your friends. This is the best place to do it, right? You could do it from all over the place. So I hope you guys are having a great night. G-Girl, I hope you had a great stream. What's up, Devil Doc? What's going on, buddy? It's been a while since I've seen you. How are you doing? So we're going over, guys, fantasy football tier list here. We're wrapping up the quarterbacks here. We're going to be getting into running back. So if you are into fantasy football, I think G-Girl was doing some fantasy football stuff also, or some drafts. You're doing some mock drafts. So we are going to be piggybacking off of some of that, right? We're going to be talking about some of these tiers. Again, we'll be getting into the running backs here very soon. So let's all of our lab rats, let's give everybody a nice warm welcome into the Action Lab. DZ, what's up? How we doing? What else? Old Man Burger, what's going on? G-Girl Raid, yes. Thank you guys for all the love. Hit that follow button. And we will be live every Wednesday and Sunday, and then most likely Thursdays coming up this football season. We're going to do our best to be on for Thursday Night Football as well, but we do Sunday Night Football live here on Twitch. A lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Let's get those Shaq shimmies rolling in.
A little Shaq shimmy going.
Also,
G-Girl, thanks for noticing the hair. I didn't wear a hat tonight for you, No big deal. And asking about my trip. My trip was good, but it was as good as I got to see family, which is great. But I drove 9 hours to go to Kansas and back in 4 days. So with young kids, but it was good. It was good to see the family. It's hot there, Chris. It's humid. And our Airbnb, when we got there, our Airbnb's AC was not working. It was like 85 degrees and humid in the house. And it turns out the air filter hadn't been replaced in like years, and the whole unit had iced over. So that first night we had to wait for it to melt before we could turn the unit back on. So we had to wait till the next morning. So that first night was hot.
By the way, go give G-Girl some love. Give her a follow. Go, literally click away and click follow, and then come right back if you aren't already. So you make sure you guys go do that. She is fantastic, and she's going to be rocking the sports content all the way through football season. She crushes. So make sure you go do that right now. Let's see. What else? Does Kansas have good?
Ayahuasca. Phenomenal. You'd have to ask my brother. He's more into that, actually, legitimately, than I am. Clout. Hey, Chris, Scotty, who do you think should be my backup? Carr, Burrow, or Prescott? It's good living when those are your backups.
If those are your backups, you're in great shape. So
I think you said you have Carr right now. I know Carr's adding Devontae Adams. I get it. But Carr's never historically thrown for a lot of touchdowns in his career. You look at his last 4 years, you're at 19, 21, 27, and 23 touchdowns. Just last year, Burrow had 34, which is more than Derek Carr's ever had in his career. So for me, an improved offensive line with Joe Burrow. I know everyone's excited about the offense the Raiders might have with adding Adams, but how many touchdowns does that add off of the 23 that Carr had last year? Maybe, let's say he increases it by a third. That's still less than Burrow had last year. So I would take Burrow. I'd take Burrow and Dak over Carr. I'd go in that order. I'd go Burrow, Dak, and then Carr.
For everyone else, thank you, Medic. Thank you, Peabody, for the follows. Hey, let us know who your teams are and where you're from. We'd like to get to know you guys a little bit closer. So, you guys can come in and we can have a little bit more fun with you guys. I was disappointed when I drafted Burrow last year, says Medic. He was a major reason I won my league last year. Okay. All right.
Football Wife gifting out another sub.
Thank you, Football Wife, for the gifted. Again, just crushing. In the house, thank you so much for being here, and you're the beneficiary of a gifted sub. All right. So this tier 3, we're gonna kind of breeze through these last couple of tiers. There's not really too much exciting news after that. Those other tiers. Now these are tiers that it's like you'll get into these guys and you'll be fine with them, but you're not going to be super excited to start them. Mayfield, I think, is at the top of this list with I think Lawrence has some potential with some weapons there. And Fields, I think, is kind of in a weird spot with Chicago. I don't know what they're doing in Chicago ever. So that's my problem here. But
I think Mayfield's a distant third on this list.
Okay, yeah. Mayfield's
not even a fantasy option in my mind.
I think Mayfield is intriguing. I almost had him in tier 4, and then I pushed him up to tier 3 just barely, just because of the unknown of what. But it hinges on Christian McCaffrey too, right? And it also depends PPR league. If you're in a PPR league, that's a big deal too. If Christian McCaffrey is healthy and you're in a PPR and you get some of the points from depending on how your league scores.
Mayfield's getting 0 points for PPR because he's not catching the ball.
Well, I mean,
Or
as far
maybe
as
he is. Is he throwing it to himself?
well, no, it depends on like how your league scores, like because like some leagues do weird stuff with like receptions from. I don't know. I mean, if you're
Quarterback
like,
gets points, or for like completions. Yeah, that's gross. Don't do that.
there's weird leagues out there. So
at
read your
the-
league rules first of all.
The reason I like Fields and Lawrence way more, is because at least they provide. Again, I'm going to harp on the running option. They both provide something on the ground. They can both run and pick up yards that way. Where Mayfield, I hope I never have to watch him run because it is awful. It's an awful sight, Chris.
Yeah,
Absolutely terrible. So from that, I know like Fields in Chicago doesn't have weapons. Lawrence, we're going to get into, thank you for the follow. We're going to get into running backs here soon, Chris, but I'm pretty high on a certain running back in Jacksonville this year. So I think Lawrence will, maybe a former teammate of his might have a decent year where Lawrence is dumping it off to him, and big play potential all day, every day. If you don't know who I'm talking about, look it up. Or we're going to get to it here soon.
What?
last tier here. These are guys that I think you can start. You can throw a flyer out there. You might not be excited about it, but you're not going to be excited about it. I'm sorry, G Girl. I'm sorry. Your boy Danny Dimes, and then you got Jameis Winston. Jameis, I mean, a lot of what he had going in for him was Alvin Kamara, which there's some issues with that, and whether or not he's going to play a ton. Either way, he can be a little bit better, but when it needs to, I mean, he's going to throw 50 interceptions too, and he's going to crush your team. It's just like, yeah, if you have to, like, plug him. You're bottom of the barrel at this point if you're looking for a starting quarterback, and these are your two guys.
You're in like a 20-team league if you're down to these guys as a starter, or you forgot you needed a quarterback.
You get yeah.
You're like, crap. Chris, I noticed no Tua on this list. Is that just because you couldn't spell his last name?
Yeah, we know how I do with names.
You're like, I'm not even gonna bother.
You would have slid Tua in maybe a tier 3, tier 4.
Yeah, maybe like the top of this tier. Maybe I put him above Baker, but I wouldn't put him above Lawrence or Fields. But he's got two guys on the outside that can break a 3-yard pass and take it to the house with Tyreek and Waddle. So the potential's there for him to get points just because he has to just get the ball out of his hands as quickly as possible. And he is accurate within 5 yards, Chris.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. Rabsibs, I'm greetings from upstate New York, 20+ year member of Bills Mafia. Let's go. Hey, you and football wife forget. I mean, you and why am I blanking?
I was reading the chat, so I didn't hear what you said.
Bill's Mafia. No, he's a Bill's Mafia.
Oh. Moon Princess.
Yeah. Moon Princess.
Yeah. So we got some Bills following here, and we were live last year during that Chiefs. I am a Chiefs fan. Chris is a Broncos fan, just so you guys know.
Yep.
But that was an exciting one that we were live for last year in the playoffs.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely wild. G-Girl, can he go deep, though? Absolutely not. No, of course Tua can't go deep. No.
No shot.
That's why he's like tier 4 or borderline late tier 3.
Tyreek is going to be running back for the ball all season. Going to be a riot. Let's see what else. Tua has a pretty decent arm, but I think the question is how good he is protection. I don't know.
I don't think he has a decent arm. In fact, if they wanted to redo the DirecTV commercial that had the Mannings with Peyton Noodle Arm, or was it Eli Noodle Arm? I can't even remember who had the noodle arm in that one. I think it was Peyton. They could redo that with Tua, and it would make a ton of sense, Chris.
Oh, totally.
Ton of sense.
All right, let's dive into the running back rankings here. And I don't think there's any duplicates on this list, I promise. Running back ranks. Here we go. So we're going to dive into all of these guys here. We're going to break down like kind of where we kind of think guys are going to fall on this list. So there's a lot more of these tiers here that I think you might see a lot of names that you are going to recognize mid-tier or mid-draft of your fantasy football drafts. Even in like most likely a 12-team league, you're diving into these as, high-end at the lowest tier, like a high-end or low-end running back 2. So keep that in mind here as well. But let's dive in. First tier, there's only 2, I think, in this top tier. These are guys, now, realistically, in the top, there's 15 really strong guys. If you get anyone, a lot of these guys in the top 15, I feel like you're doing pretty well. Now, these two, the tier one, I define as guys you could take first overall, and I think these two are the only running backs that fit that category in this, because you're going to either take a running back first, or if you want to take a flyer on a wide receiver that you just really love. But McCaffrey and Taylor are the two different tier ones that you can take at number one overall. Now, McCaffrey, injury prone, we get it. He's burned a lot of people, Scotty. Taylor, pretty consistent. The difference between these two is McCaffrey has a little bit more of a high ceiling than Taylor, where Taylor has the high floor. You know what you're getting with Taylor, and he's never going to disappoint you. So it kind of is your preference at this point, because if you have a number one pick, you're either going for that high ceiling that you think McCaffrey's going to just be that workhorse for you all year long, the receptions, the yards, the touchdowns. I mean, he does it all. But Taylor, he's never going to have those big, massive games, but he's always going to give you consistency each and every week. So that high floor really matters. But Scotty, of these two, if let's say you had the number one pick, where are you going?
Listen, it's hard to argue against Taylor. He was the number one fantasy running back last year, had a great year, and is obviously still young and up and coming behind that elite offensive line. And I think an improved offense, with Matt Ryan at the helm over Carson Wentz. Here's the problem, though, Chris. It's not literally running back position is not repeatable, at least historically, as far as RB1s never repeat again as RB1s the following year. They don't go back to back. It's been almost 2+ decades. It just doesn't happen. So historically, it just hasn't happened that way. Now, I think Taylor's the safe pick. You're right. He's got the floor.
So does that mean McCaffrey? Does that mean McCaffrey didn't have a year last year? So this is his chance to not have a back-to-back great year?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, anyone but Taylor is up to win the RB1 in fantasy this year, because they didn't last year. McCaffrey, I'm surprised how high a lot of people have him ranked, only because obviously 2 straight years, horrific injury issues, and has been a 0 for whoever's drafted him. Now, I'm a boomer bust guy, Chris. I'm a boomer bust guy in fantasy. I'm not here to finish 5th or 4th, okay? I'd rather, if I'm not going to be good, I'll finish last before I finish 4th or 5th, because that's just a waste. And that means I played it safe. So McCaffrey, if he stays healthy with that potential in a PPR league, I'll say specifically, can easily be RB1, has been that before, of course. So for me, I'm just surprised that a lot of people aren't scared of McCaffrey based off the injury. But for me, I'm not that scared off, and I think he's going to have a huge year. And I mean, there's a lot of guys that I could see being RB1, but McCaffrey's certainly towards the top of that list.
Mackie in the chat, Colts are my pick for Super Bowl champs. I said it. All right. I mean, they got a lot of potential, right? Tyreek went for the bag. Yeah. Drafted him first overall 2 years ago. He screwed me. Someone else drafted him first last year. It screwed him.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the risk you take. But here's the thing: it's the talent like that, though. I mean, he can single-handedly win you almost from that position. He can take you into the playoffs and a deep run into the playoffs for your fantasy leagues. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, says Medic. RBs don't typically have back-to-back years. Najee first overall. Who says no, says Reckoning. Najee might make the list here coming up soon for you there, Rec. Clout. For real, though, I am an Eagles fan, so it is tiny bit biased, but I think the Eagles have what it takes to win it all. Their defense got some major upgrades, and so has their offense.
When you say win it all, you mean like the NFC East? Or do you mean like the Super Bowl?
I think you mean Super Bowl. I think you mean Super Bowl.
Yeah, no. No.
maybe the division clout. And Super Bowl, you might have a nice, I mean, let's say you play the Packers in the NFC Championship game, then it's a shoo-in. Then you're good. And then you can, maybe have a roll the dice.
That's what you need to happen. But how did you get to the NFC Championship game? I mean, we kind of saw, I know, I like what Philly did in the offseason, don't get me wrong, but we saw, listen, they squeaked in last year as a playoff team only because they added a team to the playoffs. So they were the 7th team. And we kind of saw them get exposed once they reached the playoffs against Tampa in that first round game. They weren't ready.
By the way,
I know AJ Brown and adding some guys on defense. I like it, but Super Bowl contenders, I think we got to see a lot more consistency from Hurts in the passing game.
Emod, thank you for the follow. Camden, thank you for the follow as well. Guys, who are your teams and where are you from? We'd like to get to know you guys a little bit better. So throw it in the chat. Like to chat it up. Let's go. Next tier. All right, here we go. Now we get Harris, Eckler, Henry, Cook, and Mixon. All right, so here's tier 2, right? Now, this is the tier that I define as, it wouldn't surprise me if these guys ended up being number 1 RBs this year. Like if healthy, if they stay healthy, any one of these guys can finish at the top of the running back list, right? You can see, I could see taking a lot of these guys in the top 5 running backs, but so by the 7th pick, this is kind of like you're kind of gauging whether or not you want to take these guys, because you figure, right? Jefferson and Kupp are going to go in those top couple picks, right? Which means, you're going to get around that 7th, 8th pick, and you're going to have some of these on the board. Now, here's kind of what you can expect, from who you have available to you at this point. Now, there's a few ones here that I think are interesting. Najee, he led the league in touches all last year. He has a high load when it comes to what they do in Pittsburgh. Dalvin Cook, obviously he's got some changes of pace when it comes to their offense in Minnesota and what they got going on there. They got a nice passing game to open up the running game, so I think that's going to help him a lot. So Mixon's an interesting one too. I like Mixon on this list. He was back and forth between tier 2 and tier 3 for some people. I have it more in tier 2. I mean, the reason why people weren't big on Mixon last year was because he was outshined by Chase. Jamar Chase just blew him out of the water when it came to all the highlight reels and everything else. He quietly had a great year. I mean, he's one of only 4 other players with 250 touches and 40 catches that, over the last 3 years. And it's Taylor, Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, and Mixon are the only ones. So, he had 43 catches, 43, 35, and 42 catches in the last 3 years. So pretty good. I mean, he's getting the ball. He's getting those catches. So I like what he can do in the passing game. They use him a lot in the passing game. So Mixon is a nice piece here. But, I mean, Henry's going to be back. He's coming off the injury. Eckler, he's, touchdown machine as from what, he's used to each and every year. So this is the tier 2 list. This is where you're looking at maybe latter end of the first round. And if these guys happen to drop to the second round, I mean, you'd be happy to get these guys, in the second round somewhere in that mix.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very even playing field here in tier 2 for me. And there's a couple guys I might even add to tier 2 beyond this, where it's kind of a toss up. When you look at Najee Harris, he was RB3, I believe, as a rookie last year and led the league in touches. He had 8 million touches with that Pittsburgh offense last year that had no imagination or no ability to push the ball down the field with Ben Roethlisberger's arm. But they're going to rely on him again. We still don't know who the quarterback's going to be in Pittsburgh coming out of camp. It's just, when you have a 3-man race at quarterback, it's not a good sign that you're going to rely on the pass a lot. There's a lot of maybe dump offs to him in the pass game like they did last year, and a lot of carries for Najee Harris where maybe the per touch numbers weren't great last year, but if he gets those touches again, it doesn't matter.
I see some things on Mixon in the chat of he injuries is why I don't draft him. He's only had 1 year where he only played 6 games. He's played at least 14 or more games every single season since he's been in the league, pretty much. All right, so he actually two years where he so he had the 2020 season where he only played 6. He had the 20 let's see. Yeah, that's it. No. So he played 16 last year, 6 the year before, 16, 14, 14. So he's not always injured. He's pretty reliable. He maybe misses a couple games. So he will have enough output in missing, even if he only misses a couple games. You kind of expect that from week to week with any running back, that they're not going to be super, healthy, but they might miss a game or two. So chalk that up as, I think you can rely on Joe Mixon.
I think Mixon, for me, is actually my least favorite running back on this list. And that's not that I don't like him. I think his upside's a little limited. I think they're going to throw the ball a ton. He's nice running back, but he's not going to be relied on. And he has a decent pass game option, but he's not elite in the passing game. Don't get me wrong, I like him. Here's a weird stat though, Chris, with running backs in general. I talked about how it's hard to repeat as RB1 in fantasy. Each of the last 9 years, the running back 1 has been 25 years old or younger. So in general, RB1 is going to be a young dude, which eliminates from this list 4 of the 5 on this list, actually. In Eckler, Henry, Cook, and Mixon, all gone. Najee Harris, obviously, in his second year. There's only actually, and then also they're one of the top running backs taken, like top 10 running backs. There's like 3, borderline 4 guys that even fit the list this year. One is Najee Harris. One's DeAndre Swift, which we'll get into in tier 3. Saquon Barkley is another, and then Javonte Williams, who I have questions, and I'd be shocked if that was the case with Williams. But keep in mind with Najee, it's touches. So if that continues for a 10th straight year, it's one of those 4 guys. Those are the only 4 guys that fit the billing. So maybe it doesn't continue on, but 9 years isn't just a coincidence, Chris. It's a trend at that point.
Yeah, no, it's at that point, it's like you take a look at some of the younger guys, and it's like, okay, maybe you take a look at this, right? So I'm looking at the Najee Harris, his stats. He just in 307 attempts, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, and then that's just rushing, right? Like, it's pretty good. 74 receptions. They use him in everything. So, Harris, I think, is near the top of this echelon of this tier for me, for sure. I think that he is going to be, just based on volume alone, one of the guys that you can rely on each and every week to get you a nice standard point total each and every week. Especially PPR leagues, you're in great shape. Is Harris 23? I believe he is. No, he is 24.
He might be 24.
He's 24.
Okay.
Yeah, 24.
Eckler is going to be a nice beat. Henry, obviously, in a PPR league, is not going to provide you a ton of catches or anything of that nature. But if you're in a standard league, Henry moves up to the top of this list. And let's keep in mind, when Henry got hurt last year, he was like RB1 in the league, even in a PPR league. That's how dominant he was at scoring touchdowns and running. So if he's back to healthy, that they're going to give him carries. Like, he's going to get a ton of carries, and he's going to bust some. If he gets to the second level, like, he has the ability to break it for a long, long way. I think talking about Dalvin Cook, I think it was Mackey said, like, oh yeah, I would not draft McCaffrey, Cook, or Mixon because they are made of glass. I agree. Cook has, had some injury prone issues and missed several weeks the last, few years. But for me, the backup there, Alex Madison's really, really good and prolific if Cook is out, where I'm good with taking Cook early on as long as you handcuff him with Madison later and have him on your bench, because you're going to get, like, even Madison a lot of times is close to RB1 material on a fantasy league if Cook is out. So just in general, grabbing that Minnesota tandem, I'm comfortable with that and think it's all right moving forward.
Guys, so we will be having our fantasy football league for the Action Lab here. You have to be a part of our Discord server. We will be making announcements in there, so make sure you join our Discord if you haven't already, and hit us up on all of our socials, and we will have posts on all this stuff too, all the socials in the chat. Make sure you give us some love, and we will make sure you know everything there is to know about entering for free, and then also playing for some sweet prizes. We have all of our merch that we're going to be giving away for all of our winners of each of these leagues. We're going to be doing a pick'em contest, a survivor league, and some fantasy football leagues with yours truly, along with Scotty. We're going to be having a lot of fun with all of you guys that join in. Papa G, welcome in. Let's go. How we doing? Hope you're having a great weekend. Devil Doc Harris is going to be the center of the Steelers. Oh, we need him healthy. He's got a nagging injury right now in camp. Yeah. I think he'll be fine. I think they'll take good care of him and make sure he gets the rest he needs as much as possible.
Is it? And since I've been on the road, I haven't followed as closely the last few days. Is Mason Rudolph like still borderline the front runner in Pittsburgh?
I hope not. I mean, for Steelers fans' sake, but I mean, if he's in
you know who it's not going to be? Small Hands. He's having, from what I've heard, an awful camp. And actually, I've heard Trubisky's had an awful camp too. So it's got to be Mason. It's got to be Mason Rudolph. I think he's going to start week 1.
Reckon no one's a front runner here. Oh my goodness.
I've always said when you have 2 quarterbacks on your roster, that means you have 0. I don't even know what to say when you have 3 quarterbacks battling it out. No Pickett slander, please. Thanks. I was not a Pickett guy in the draft. I was shocked that they didn't take a guy with a little more upside and bigger hands, perhaps. And he has not looked good in camp. And he's old. Like, he stayed his whole time at Pittsburgh. How old is he? He's like 24. He might be older than Najee Harris. He probably is.
Yeah, it's wild. They need to figure that out quick because, and luckily they're well coached, so that kind of helps. That fixes some things, but still, like, you need to get your quarterback situation figured out. And if you don't have anybody in your top 3 that you're just excited about at this point, I feel like you got some things you need to work through. Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next tier here. Tier 3. So we got 8 names here. Now, this tier is kind of, I define this as guys you would take a minimum by the end of the 2nd round. Like, if these guys drop to you in the 3rd round, you're first pick in the 3rd round, I feel like you'd be happy with. You'd be fine with. You'd be like, all right, I can move forward with this as a running back 1 for my team, right? So, any of these guys here, you got Kamara, Barkley, Swift, Fournette, Jones, Connor, Chubb, Williams. Kamara is the weird one on here. Like, obviously, he's got the suspension potentially coming down. So
not potentially, he's suspended.
So
he's not starting the year.
If he's not,
I think it's 6 weeks, right?
It's So Kamara is the one that you should, like, from a strict, like we talked about this with Deshaun Watson, like, from a strict talent standpoint, he makes the list, but you got to kind of omit him based off of the suspension and what that means for him.
I was wrong. There has not been a suspension officially laid down because his court case keeps getting delayed and stuff like that.
Last time I heard, the court case
gotta be coming.
But last time I heard on the Kamara thing was they were going to delay. It was going to be delayed enough where he was going to play the season before they were able to figure out. And whether the NFL does something with that to, like, not let him play is up to them. But I think there's some weird things going on with the whole Kamara thing. But if they can delay the court cases till later on in the season, he could play potentially and not have any implications, from my understanding, which would make him eligible until he's able to go to court. We'll see. So that's why he kind of makes this as a weird option here, because if he plays, he's easily a tier 3 guy. Barkley is another one that I think
Mackey's out here listing. He likes every single one of these guys. He's like, I like this guy. He's good. He's solid. He's great too. You like them all? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
I think I'm a little lower on Javonte Williams as time goes on. I've heard from many sources that from Broncos. I mean, I've heard Melvin Gordon's playing right now better in Broncos training camp than Javonte Williams based off of some of the things. So that's kind of what I'm a little bit worried about. But I mean, it's a good problem to have, I guess, if you have two guys that are doing well. But I think the name that kind of pops out to me on this list, Barkley, is a one that I would really be interested in based off of. He's coming off an injury, maybe not drafted very high based off of people getting scared off of him and his injury history. So he could actually provide a ton of value here. Fournette, he's been a monster. He's the only option there. There's no splits with anybody else from my understanding early on in camp that I really feel is going to take away from his production. So I think Fournette could be a nice option there in Tampa Bay. Jones, that's going to be an interesting one in Green Bay, but I mean, they don't have anybody to throw to, so you got to run the ball, right? And he can catch the ball too. Aaron Rodgers will probably use him a ton. Scotty, what do you think on this list? Swift.
We got fat shaming going on in the chat, which you hate to see it, Chris, talking about Fournette, but apparently, also, Chris, you said we are not repeating any names.
I know.
But we do have a two-headed running back monster in Tampa Bay. I did not know DeAndre Swift was traded to Tampa Bay. He's going to be dangerous, Chris. Dangerous in Tampa. A 1-2 monster of Swift and Fournette is going to be tough to beat.
That is not accurate, guys. Just so you know, that was
DeAndre Swift is possibly my favorite one on here, Chris. I like DeAndre Swift.
The newest guy in Tampa.
Yeah, I think, I want to say he finished, top 10, in points last year's running back as a rookie. Came on down, especially down the stretch. Here's a weird fact with DeAndre Swift. He was 4th in fantasy points per touch all time as a rookie. So as a rookie running back, 4th in fantasy points per touch. So not total fantasy points, but per touch. The other 3 players to do that in their rookie year that were finished higher than him all had a season where they finished RB1 in fantasy after, later on in their careers. So DeAndre Swift has that upside if he gets enough touches in an offense. I think we agree in Detroit that's going to be at least improved. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but they're going to be better. It's going to be a better offense. That offensive line in Detroit, I think, is nice. If they ever get who's the Jameson Williams at some point this year, who they traded up for, the elite, fast as hell wide receiver out of Alabama. If he plays, TJ Hawkinson's nice. Like that offense, if Goff can just be, and we've seen Goff have solid years when he's had weapons around him and a good offense in LA. So I think I don't sleep on Detroit's offense being better than you think when you think of Detroit's. I love Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones, especially now that Devontae Adams is gone, that's the single best weapon at Aaron Rodgers' disposal. And I think he's going to use him a ton. So I love Aaron Jones. Nick Chubb doesn't offer you anything in the pass game. Chairman, I did not say that the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. That did not come out of my mouth. Okay. Hashtag impossible. Or I said hashtag, but that's exclamation point. And I can't hear it, Chris. Sorry. Nick Chubb, you could argue, and I wouldn't disagree one bit, that Nick Chubb is the single best runner of any running back in the league. Like straight handoff, ability to win at the line of scrimmage, break tackles, speed, everything. He has it. He just doesn't catch the ball. So that's why he's back here. Kamara with the suspension's tricky. I'm not huge on Connor. I don't love James Conner. Barkley is an athletic freak and an unknown based off of injuries, and that offense, I just don't know if that offense is going to be better. Like it's the same offense, feels like to me in New York, that underachieved last year. So we'll see. Fournette, despite his weight, will put up points because Tampa's going to score and he'll get touchdowns. And yeah, I've heard with Javonte Williams that it's kind of been like close to a 50-50 split in camp as far as time with the first team offense. Maybe 55-45 in Williams' favor, but it has not been like Denver didn't just re-sign Melvin Gordon for no reason. And also, Melvin Gordon didn't re-sign with Denver because to be the backup running back. Like, that didn't occur. So Melvin Gordon's going to get a lot of touches just like he did last year. So I don't love Javonte Williams because I don't know if he's going to get... Like, I like him if he was the single, number one priority at running back, but I'm not sure that's the case.
Yeah, no. So, and I think there's a couple other things. Yeah, I was drinking when I made the Swiss Football Wife. I was. Heavily.
Yeah.
I still am. Real quick, Mackey, Williams, and Kamara are the only bad ones on this tier. And so, yeah, I agree. Kamara's got the most... I mean, here's the thing. I know he's missing Sean Payton, and I know he's got the stuff going on, but that doesn't change the fact that he's been targeted, average 100 targets in the receiving game for the last 5 years. Like, that's crazy. That's insane for a running back. And then also just the handoff production and the touchdowns that he gets from that. So, I mean, he's a not great guy. I get it, and he's got some things going on, but he can win you some fantasy.
Kind of a little scuffle. But if you can draft and stash him and make the playoffs, like, he could be a game changer down the stretch for you, depending on when you got him in the draft, and you can add him to your team later on after the suspension, because he's going to go lower than he should because of the suspension, no doubt.
Fournette has consistently let me down over the past 3 years. I'm done with him. Isn't it funny how, like, everybody's got these guys. And I want you guys to throw your guys in the chat. The guys that let you down every year, but you keep drafting them because you think this is the year, and you just keep getting let down. I want everyone to throw in their guy.
G-Girl, there's only one man I can rely on. Derrick Henry. Is that the same Derrick Henry that missed half the season last year? That Derrick Henry?
He missed a lot. But, when he's in, he's good. He led the year. Wasn't he like top 4 in rushing even at the end of the season? And he's still... He was well on his way to being running back 1, no doubt about it. Even in a PPR league, he would have been running back 1. But he did get hurt. It did happen. Klept, welcome in. I did a deal today. Mac Jones and a future second for Zach Wilson in a dynasty league. Super flex. Let me know what you think. Mac Jones.
I think Zach Wilson has more upside. I don't think Mac Jones is ever going to be a viable fantasy quarterback. So you got a second and Zach Wilson? Love it.
Yeah.
Mackey. Whatever happened to Peyton Hillis? Madden curse. People forget that he was on the cover of Madden.
Oh, he was. He made it.
Oh, so funny.
He's the biggest one-hit wonder, I'm telling you. And then last on this list, Jones. I think Green Bay. I mean, what's nice about Jones is he's increased his targets each and every... I mean, the last 3 years, he's been targeted around 60 to 70 times per the last 3 years, 19, 20, and 21. So, he's getting a lot of targets through the passing game, and in a offense that doesn't have any receivers, you got to figure something out. So I'm sure his production will take a step up when Aaron Rodgers has 0 receivers to throw to downfield. So keep an eye on Jones as like a flyer of maybe a guy that can really, maybe in PPR leagues more so than regular standard league, but keep an eye on Jones to be doing something with some more catches. I think it was 2 or 3 years back. Tom Brady let me down every week until I benched him, and then he went off. Put him back in the next week, and he sucked all over against his medic. Yeah, that's just like everyone's got that.
Mac Jones is a beast. You leave Mac alone. I'll tell you what, Mackey. I will leave Mac Jones alone if you promise to draft him and have him as your fantasy starter every week. Outside of his bye week, of course. I'll let you switch it up that week. But otherwise, I will stop talking about him in a negative light if he is your starting fantasy QB every week.
I mean, put your money where your mouth is, right, Mackie?
Yep.
Hey, Chris and Scotty, I'm trying to get Harris from a friend. What should I offer? Ingram, Kamara, or Akers, along with Gabriel Davis? What should I do? Because I want to give up some. I don't want to give up something too important. All right. So you're trying to get Najee, and you want to.
Depending on the person, the only one that has a chance is if they see the name Kamara with Gabriel Davis and they get excited, but I don't think any of those paired up would be enough to get Najee.
You might need to go with like a Kamara just for like the shot, the high ceiling value, knowing that he's got some problem, but then that's got a hard sell too because he might be missing games, so you can't sell that either. Akers might be. I mean, he's in a nice offense, so you might be able. You have to sell it. You have to be a salesman in that one, but you might be able to make some moves there. Let's see. Leave Mac Jones and Brittany alone, says Cuban. leave Brittany alone. Jeez. And Mac Jones. Leave him alone. Definitely going to be the roster. Okay, so, all right, let's go ahead. Let's move to the next tier here. All right. So, and, you know, this is an interesting tier for me, too. Interesting tier here. This section for me is you're comfortable with these guys as your second running back. Like, and maybe, I think maybe Zeke gets a lot of bad rap, right? Zeke gets a lot of bad rap because Pollard has come in and he's been kind of outshining. But Zeke, I think, could potentially be like maybe that last running back one that you have that's available that you're like, all right, maybe I'll take a flyer on him. I mean, here's look at this. I mean, he tied for 6th in the NFL within the 5-yard line with 12 carries. Like he was he was 6th in the NFL.
How many of those did he score on?
Either way, he's getting opportunities. I don't know how many he scored on. Pollard only had 2. They're still using Zeke in a lot of ways because that's, that's what Jerry Jones loves Zeke. You know he does. When he goes to sleep at night dreaming Zeke is like in bed with him, right? Like he's just like, Zeke is that like a Jerry Jones kind of guy. I just think that like he wants him in this mix. He needs him in this mix. Jerry Jones is a fantasy guy through and through. He's like, get Zeke the ball. Let him feed. So, I mean, obviously he gets a lot of goal line opportunities. I think he's going to be a little bit better than people give him credit for because he's got the big contract. He didn't perform. That's like the biggest thing in the media. Keep an eye on Zeke for being a nice low end running back one. But I think he's slightly on that border of running back 1, running back 2. So then we got Travis Etienne on this list. Travis Etienne, Breece Hall. Still, here's the thing: Travis Etienne, he could be a backup to James Robinson. So that they don't say that. They're saying it's an open, but who knows? Breece Hall, he's still a rookie, and the Jets will probably suck. Right, so Breece Hall. I mean, but they'll try to get him the ball. Akers, he's in a nice little offense there with the Rams. I think Montgomery is an interesting one on this list, but I think there's a big drop off from this list down after Montgomery. I think there's a lot. Once you get further down this list, for me, I feel like we're getting into some interesting predicaments, and you're starting to get into like a more of a gap in talent. But yep. Scotty, what do you think here? By the way, real quick, Bill Camps Jr., by the way, welcome in. Who's your team and where are you from? Like to get to know you a little bit. What running back should I shoot for at the 3.1 spots? So that was kind of what we were talking about in the tier 3. Well, let's just go back to tier 3. These are kind of the guys that are going to be in that range, Bill Camps. So these are guys that you might want to target at the end of the second round, early third round. So keep an eye: Jones, Connor, Chubb, Williams, Fournette, Swift, Barkley, Kamara. If you get any of these guys at the start of the third, you're in great shape. So there you go.
Yeah, welcome in, someone was asking if we have room in these fantasy leagues still. I don't remember who it was. It was up. Maybe it was Klept. Yeah, we haven't formed these. We'll see based on demand. We're going to have more info and details on our next stream on Wednesday night, 9:30 Eastern. We'll go over a lot of those details and what you need to do to join and how you can get in on the fun and beat Chris. Obviously, you're not going to beat me, but you have the opportunity to beat Chris in fantasy football. Shouldn't be that difficult. This list, tier 4, Cam Akers is, sounds like he's going to be RB1 in LA and an offense that's going to put up points. So he's going to have TD opportunities. I don't know if he's ever going to be a big yardage guy for you, but the TD opportunities are there. Zeke, Pollard's should be RB1. I like Pollard more than Zeke. Zeke just doesn't have the juice anymore. But he'll get touches in a Dallas offense that also will be good, and they'll overuse him because they're too kind to Zeke and don't want to admit that they gave him a terrible contract.
They have to eat that. They have to defend that contract. They have.
You got a couple young guys with the rookie and Breece Hall and Travis Etienne, who might as well be a rookie after getting injured in preseason last year and not playing at all for Jacksonville. I love Etienne. That was the guy I was hinting at. Listen, I know he's not going to get a ton of touches and he's going to split some with James Robinson, although James is coming off a torn Achilles. I don't know. I know James has been around in camp, but I can't imagine he's healthy. I think Etienne's much healthier than James Robinson. And I'm telling you, dude, like Etienne in open field is ridiculous. Like he can take it to the house at any point. So while he may not get a ton of touches because he's not the biggest guy in the world, when he gets it, it's dangerous, whether it's in the run game or when he gets to the second level or in the screen or short passing game. So David Montgomery, let's keep in mind, Montgomery was like highly thought of a year ago, where he was like debatable RB1 going into the draft, underachieved on a Chicago offense that struggled, but has the upside to he's clearly RB1 there, so you're not worried about him not getting touches. I like that you put Clyde Edwards. So no one else got a first name, but Clyde did. Clyde got his first name. Instead of Edwards-Helaire, which is his last name, you put Clyde Edwards. I love it. I love it, Chris.
The ayahuasca was hitting hard earlier.
I kind of talked early on about the Chiefs running back situation. Like there's literally 4 guys that could compete for touches with CEH, Ronald Jones, who they signed, Jerick McKinnon, who had, got a lot of touches last year, and then a rookie Isaiah Pacheco, who sounds like he's been pretty damn good in camp and has the most upside as far as he's by far the fastest of that group. So if they care about getting some speed option there, Isaiah Pacheco would be that. So that's why it's hard to project where to go at the Kansas City running back position. So that makes sense why Clyde Edwards is here, even though, listen, KC's offense is still going to be a top 5 offense in the league. No doubt in my mind. So someone's going to score well at the running back position. It's just a matter of who.
I need a snack for this Elliott talk. Just like, there we go.
I need a snack too. I'll be right back, Chris.
Hey, code yellow. Code yellow for Scotty. Let's get him all taken care of. Spam code yellow in the chat. All those emotes that you guys got. If you guys subscribe to the channel, you can spam those right now. And he's gonna go take care of business. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, yeah, that's an interesting one. I kind of I'm not high on any of the running backs at this point. I think Jay Cross coming in. What's up, Jay Cross? How we doing, my friend? Fellow Phillies fan here. There's a couple other Phillies fans earlier on in the chat, Jay Cross. So you're gonna have a lot of buddies chilling in the Action Lab with you this season. No Miles Sanders. He's definitely better than some of the on this tier 4 list. I will get to that here in a second. Jay Cross. We'll talk about that here in a second because we're going to be closing in on your boy here. No worries. Sky Moore, best running back on KC. Yeah, that's true, Klept. And here's the thing. That's you just don't know, how often have you guys and your teams drafted a running back for the Kansas City Chiefs and all of a sudden the backup ends up splitting or blowing up all of a sudden, a nice young guy that Andy Reid really likes and a versatile guy. It's just so hard to predict who's going to be splitting and who's going to be. Kansas City just uses so many weapons and they spread the ball around so much that it's hard to pinpoint what option they're going to continue to just move forward with each and every week. You could draft, even the best running backs over there end up losing their job or there's things happen and they get injury and backup gets all the carries after then they're phased out, and they phase them out real quick. So it's
actually
hard.
Klepp makes a good point. Sky Moore, best running back on KC. He was the second round wide receiver they took, who's looked great in camp, but they have given him some carries in camp, kind of using him in a bit of a Debo role. And Andy Reid, going into camp, talked about how he has running back legs, not normal wide receiver legs, whatever that means. They're a little thicker, Chris. They're a little thicker legs. So it would not shock me to see Andy use Sky Moore. So there's a fifth running back potentially, Chris, in Kansas City. It's crowded.
That's a lot of running backs. That's a lot of running backs. So, yeah. All right. So there you go.
Oh, no. Mackie loved the pick of Sky Moore. Now I'm down on him. Now I'm down on Sky.
Orioles fan, what's up, buddy? How we doing? How's your weekend? What about the Ravens running backs? Well, you see one right here. There you go. Dobbins coming up on tier 5. Mitchell, Penny, Dillon, Gibson, Sanders, Jacobs, and Hunt.
I think there's 2 B's in Dobbins.
No, there's not. No. It's only one.
Okay.
It's only one.
Okay.
You know what's great? Is like, this is like a game, right? I was just seeing like who notices all of like I was on one.
Sunday fun day for you today.
I was having a day. I was. Tier 5. All right, here we go. Running back. So here's the thing. Here's where we're starting to get into. I classify this zone as running back dead zone / receiver power alley, right? So this is borderline your last startable running backs on your drink to that for sure. Yes. These are your borderline last startable running backs on your team, right? When it comes to like the roughly 30th to 80th pick. But here's the thing. You're starting to look at wide receivers at this point, and it's starting to be like a priority to make just like you need to prioritize wide receivers. You feel bad if they are your running back number 2 at this point. It was some of these guys. Some of these guys used to be sexy picks, but have kind of flamed out too. I mean, you have guys that used to be really like, Kareem Hunt, Josh Jacobs, some of these guys that, you're like, oh man, like, wow, these guys were guys that I really were excited about a while back. But now, Mitchell, bunch of injuries last year, and they got a lot of competition for him now. So there's that. You got Dillon, he's kind of trending up a little bit. But there's a bunch of running backs that we don't really believe in, or I don't really believe in, but I don't know. Well, let me classify it this way. There are a bunch of starting running backs that I don't necessarily believe in, but a bunch of running back 2 that I kind of believe in a little more, if that makes any sense. Like they're fine as a running back 2. So yeah, like that's kind of where I'm at here. I think Josh Jacobs. I'm so low on Josh Jacobs, by the way. I'm so low on Josh Jacobs. I don't know. Like, he's always.
I think everyone's low on him, and maybe too low. Like, I'm not excited about him, but I think people might be too low.
And don't get me wrong. Like, you take him if there's value there, but he's gotten 260 carries. Josh Jacobs. Like, he's always gotten 260 carries. And he's still unbelievably mediocre and inefficient. Like, Josh McDaniels has not had a running back at 260 carries in his last 5 years. They brought in a bunch of other running backs. Jacobs is a Gruden guy. He's not a McDaniels guy. McDaniels didn't draft him. Gruden traded when it came in the Chicago trade, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, I just think he's going to get phased out. I just don't. If Josh Jacobs is there, I'm like trying. He's like that guy. Like you don't want him to fall to your.
Who's their RB2 though?
Let me take a look at their depth chart. I believe it is.
I feel like they signed somebody, but I'm not like, oh, that dude's.
So they got.
Did they get a guy from Miami?
Zamir White, Amir Abdullah, Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake is who I was thinking of.
So,
where is he on the depth? Oh, they also have Brandon Bolden.
I mean, they got a lot of guys in there. Like, it's weird.
Those are just dudes. Josh Jacobs is going to be a running back one there.
So anyway, that's where I'm at with this one. In the chat, everyone's like, Chris was having a fun time, wasn't he? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is why Scotty makes the graphics. Always.
You know, I'm a little more, and this is shocking that I'm a little more detail oriented with them than you, because I'm not detail oriented, but
Zamir,
my bad. I was road tripping.
Klept says Zamir White, they love him. How is Rashad Penny only 26? It seems like he was playing with Steve Largent. I mean,
Rashad Penny, keep in mind, he was laughed at as a first round pick when Seattle took him a few years back. No one saw him as a first rounder, and he fit the billing of being laughed at until like the last 3 or 4 games last year. He just went off. And now he's clear RB1 in Seattle. The problem is, how many points is Seattle scoring? You know,
they got to get the ball downfield first.
Yeah. I don't see Seattle just pouring on the points this year, which limits Penny quite a bit. My favorite one on this list is probably Antonio Gibson for Washington. I like him a lot. He can provide some things. He's RB1 there. Doesn't always catch all the balls out of the backfield. They got a guy who signed with another team and then came back. It was a weird thing, but I forget his name anyway. But I like Gibson as a decent option. Miles Sanders, I'm concerned with Miles Sanders. He, reports at a camp like he's kind of split time even as RB1 at times, running with the second team. He's not their pass catching back because that's Kenneth Gainwell. I just don't see Sanders getting a lot of touches on an offense that, historically, Philly doesn't run the ball. Their run game is Jalen Hurts. They don't really run the ball, which is ironic because it's not like Jalen Hurts is some Hall of Fame quarterback, but they forget to run the ball half the time. So from this list, I like Gibson. Hunt, if he stays in Cleveland, and Chubb seems to get some injuries from time to time, where if you can get Hunt as RB1 and getting all the touches, that's a great piece. Dobbins, I think, is going to split carries this first year back. So I don't love Dobbins' upside. Same with Mitchell. I think he's going to split. And A.J. Dillon's RB2 in Green Bay. So, I would definitely take Gibson over any of the guys on this list.
J Cross, you mentioned Sanders. Yeah, Sanders. There's a lot of weapons to spread around, more so than they've ever had in Philadelphia. So he's like, I can't trust anyone who can't spell Dobbins correctly. Hey, it's just par for the course for this show. That's just how we run things around here. J Cross, and you're getting to know that pretty quickly, right? Have you heard us pronounce hockey names? Just wait for that. Wait for hockey season to come around. You won't regret that. Just saying.
Yeah. Otherwise, G Girl, I like Dylan. She also says she likes Eli Mitchell. Yeah. I mean, I trust the run game in San Fran regardless of who's at it. So if Eli's getting a lot of carries, I trust that. AJ Dillon's gonna get carries. He just doesn't catch the ball, so he's limited in a PPR league for me, but he'll put up some points. I'm super interested to see what the Green Bay offense looks like this year, though. Without Devontae Adams, it's just such a huge piece of that offense. Is Allen Lazard their wide receiver one? Their wide receiving core is one of the worst in the league. Everyone, it's weird. I feel like way more people are talking about how Mahomes is going to decline because of losing Tyreek Hill, and they're not talking about Rodgers losing Devontae Adams almost at all. I feel like maybe it's just because I'm tied more to the Chiefs, so I hear that more. But I mean that wide receiving core, Allen Lazard is your number one. Allen Lazard. Chris was going to put him in the wide receiver tiers, but he was going to spell it Lizard. So he's like, I can't do it.
No, yeah. If I can't spell your name, I'll just throw you in a random tier and Jesus take the wheel. Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much how we go.
Roger.
So, yeah. I mean,
G-Girl thinks Watson will be eventually, but I don't know I don't think in year one.
I think, yeah. Trey Sermon. You're asking about Trey Sermon. He's still in San Fran, I believe, right? I mean, what happened to him, right? I mean, he's supposed to. He was working out with Dalvin Cook in the offseason, so who knows what that means for Trey Sermon? But I mean,
hey, keep putting lizard in the chat, guys.
Spam lizard in the chat.
Spam lizard in the chat for Chris. Oh, and Football Wife threw in a TJ Hookerson.
Yeah, like maybe I should have made this next time. When we do our wide receivers and our tight ends, maybe I just do spoof names just across the board. Maybe I just spell everyone's name wrong. You know what's weird is it's great because it gets everyone like people pay attention now. People are paying every time I switch a slide. Everyone's like, all right, what's wrong with this slide? Yeah. And they'll let us know, which increases our engagement, which increases everything, and we get to know you guys a little bit better. So maybe I should just misspell everything on this show. And
then say it's an I did it on accident.
Then it's starting to get blatant. All right, here's tier 6, and this will be our final tier of tonight when it comes to the running backs. So tier 6, this is these are the value picks. Now these are the guys that, you know, a last group of starters, upside, kind of like you want to have upside with these guys on a RB2 style, right? With any resemblance, these guys have some sort of resemblance of playing time. I do need a hug, Football Wife. Maybe I don't know how I can figure that out. I mean, we can figure it. It's possible, right? Exclamation point possible.
Hey, free bonus points for whoever can find the problem, the mistake with tier 6, guys.
Don't do it.
It's a fun game we're doing, and I just found one, and who can name it first?
Oh my goodness.
And maybe there's more than one, but I got one for sure.
All right, so here we go. Chase Edmonds. Chris. Belichick will leave Stevenson if he's late practice. Anyone remember Jonas Gray? Nobody remembers Jonas Gray.
I remember Jonas Gray. Pollard under Zeke. What's he doing under him? It's weird picture.
Chase Edmonds. Now he's with the Dolphins. That could be an interesting offense. There's a lot of options there, but
wait. I'm sorry. Where is he, Chris?
Wait.
Where's Chase Edmonds? What team is he
with? That the mistake? Wait, hold on. What's happening here?
He's Googling it right now.
No. What are we talking about here?
What? Well, who does Chase Edmonds play for? Who does he play for, Chris?
The Dolphins.
Okay.
So
are the Dolphins in Arizona? Are the Dolphins? Did the Dolphins move to Arizona and nobody told me?
We're having fun tonight.
Guys, I'll make the tier rankings for Wednesday's show.
Scotty's making the tier rankings from here on out. I'm good at running the show. I'm not good at building the graphics. This is what happens. Which
Mackie, he plays down in Miami, Arizona, which if you've never been there, Chris, gorgeous.
There's an Miami, Arizona, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, Cuban's like, is this one of those Miami of Ohio things?
It is. 100%.
Totally.
I mean,
Roger.
You're right.
Totally. Love Miami, Arizona.
So Chase Edmonds, he's going to be great with the Dolphins of Miami, of Arizona. Devin Singletary in this list.
Come on, man.
It says medic. Yeah. No. All the new people are like, what kind of shit is this show? What do we do here? Like, what is this?
Hey, G Girl, can you rate us another time where we have our shit together?
G Girl, don't ever rate us again, G Girl. Don't ever do it. Whoa, too far.
That was your biggest typo you've ever had, Chris.
I'm coming by. See, people are like, man, I want to see this train wreck next Sunday. Yeah. Or Wednesday coming up.
Maybe that's our shtick from now on. We're just a disaster, and that's the entertainment, Chris. We're just a train wreck.
I can't even throw this up on a podcast. Nothing. No credibility here. All All right, so interesting names on this one, and then let's shut this shit down. Devin Singletary makes the list too. Was a top 5 running back to finish the season last year in Buffalo. I think he's a nice little option here from a value standpoint. Melvin Gordon is making a nice name for himself in Detroit. Is he in Detroit? Is he in Detroit?
Wait. Where is Devin Singletary playing, Chris?
Oh my gosh.
Where is he playing?
All right.
Is he in Seattle?
We're ending the show.
Is there a Buffalo, Seattle?
We're ending the show.
Oh my goodness. No, we got to keep this going. Let's go. The Buffalo Seahawks.
I mean,
Mackie, tonight on Craction Lab.
This might be our worst show we've ever done, and we still have 25 people watching us here. It's like, we're on par. We're on par.
I didn't even notice that one. And then all of a sudden you started talking about it. I'm like, wait, does that say Seattle? Did Devin Singletary move to Seattle?
Are we providing the most... I hope you guys are enjoying your night. I hope you guys are enjoying it all. Hey,
Diacola gifting out a sub. We will take pity subs.
We'll take everything
We're not
you got.
beyond getting pity subs from anybody, gifted or not.
Unbelievable. 31 days, 16 hours, 39 minutes, and 32 seconds till you can see your Seattle, Arizona Diamondbacks play on the NHL Network.
Now I have to look at all of these, Chris, very carefully.
Let's see. Where was I at? Melvin Gordon. He's great. He's fine. He might be a nice little option in Denver. I think all reports are he's doing well in Denver. So,
I've seen reports that he's looked better.
Cuban Betty, all these guys got traded at the trade deadline, at the MLB trade deadline. True, they did.
Yeah,
they switched sports.
Not by the Rockies, because we stood pat. Didn't do a thing. Let me talk about this tier, Chris.
Go for it.
Man, like Pollard has RB1 upside if they stop giving the ball to Zeke, because they should. He was far more efficient than Zeke last year, and just come on, Jerry, and come on, McCarthy, figure your shit out. But I like Chase Edmonds. Listen, you have the San Francisco, coaching tree, and Mike McDaniel being the head coach out there. He was the OC in San Fran. He's gonna run the ball. Even with those weapons on the outside, he still has Tua, so you can't have Tua throwing the ball 5 yards all game. And so I think Chase Edmonds has, decent potential here as the top running back option in Miami. New England's going to run the ball a lot. We know that. But it's just so boring to take a New England running back. Like, it's so depressing. You take them and you're like, why did I just do that? I hate myself. Beyond that, you got, Singletary in. Here's what's great is you have a picture of him in his nice Buffalo uniform here, Chris.
Yeah, he looks good in Buffalo, huh? Maybe he'll get traded. Yeah. Maybe he'll get traded to Seattle at some point.
Yeah. Other than that, these are, guys depending on injuries or bye weeks, are going to make spot starts for you, but not maybe in a deeper league, you're looking at flex with some of these guys, but they're not even RB2s unless you get at the bottom of the heap there.
Scotty, your hair is crushing right now.
Yeah.
It's crushing. Yeah. It's crushing.
And G Girl just had a typo herself because she said Chris and Scotty tier 1.
Oh,
so
there's no shot.
Everybody's making typos.
Oh, there's no shot. You messed up on that one. Bruh. What tier is this show? Oh, it's if there was a tier 13 and there's only 7 total tiers, we would probably be in that range. Draft us at a high value though. You never know what you're going to get from an entertainment standpoint. So Trez and Scooty are definitely tier 1, says Mackie.
I can get on board with Scooty.
My man, let's go. Yeah.
By the way, Mackie, it's now Scotty with an IE because I just think it looks better.
Yeah. No, we go. You don't have you don't care how your name is spelled with that. The Y.
No, absolutely not. I'm just who is it? It's the what wide receiver? Just Robbie Anderson.
Oh yeah, changed his name officially.
Yeah, to an IE.
Yeah.
Right? Or was it a Y? It was a Y and he changed it to an IE. I don't know why I'm asking you. You definitely don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I can't even get the team graphics right. So, with that being said, it could be anything. He could be.
Chris, I think we've done what we set out to do tonight in the sense that people went from wanting this to be a free league in fantasy to being like, how much money can we make this league?
Oh,
because this is free money. Because Chris and Scott are a disaster.
No, what we were gonna. We're have you ever been to a pool hall and you start out and you play a guy, you crush him, and you're just like, man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about or doesn't know what he's doing. We're just playing that game. We're letting people on like, oh, we have a fantasy league coming up. We don't even know who's playing for what teams. We're giving just fantasy advice,
reeling you guys in, and then bam, we finished 10th and 11th in the league.
That's right.
And I was like, what's up? Whoever finished 12th, you suck.
Guys, make sure you join in on our Discord. So that you guys can join in once we announce our fantasy football league. We also have a Survivor League and we also have a Pick'em League. So we will be making sure that you guys enter for free on all those leagues if you want to be in on them. And you can make sure that you guys are winning some free prizes if you finish first. So there you go. We have free Action Lab merch for anybody who wants to jump in and win some cool prizes. False sense of security, very sneaky indeed, says Casually Average. Yeah, no,
G-Girl, that is not Joel Embiid. That is Mario Chalmers hitting a 3 in a Natty championship game against Memphis back in 2008.
Oh man, what? Yeah, we'll add to his background soon enough. It'll happen.
I mean, guys, I actually have a lot of stuff in the basement. As I've said before, Chris, I got to figure it out because, my wife has a lot of like meetings, Zoom meetings and whatever in here. And I can't just have a bunch of sports stuff just hanging in the background. I'm shocked that one's up. I don't even know how she explains that or gets business based off of that.
I mean, yeah, you can definitely, you have plenty of stuff to spice it up. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too worried. Well, you just got to get that.
2008, G-Girl graduated high school that year. That wasn't too far off from when I graduated high school. It was a little earlier than that, but not a lot.
Medic, do you guys break down the defensive players as well? I'm in a league for the last 3 years, and they have defensive players, and I won first blindly picking, and it killed me the past 2 years. We just do typically regular, just overall defenses, but I mean, if there's a lot of you guys that do defensive leagues, then, and if you're interested in that,
get out of those leagues. Get out of those leagues. I'm very anti-defensive players in fantasy. Our leagues will not have defensive players. I think it's silly. we might also get rid of like kickers and defenses and all the work. No, I'm just kidding on those. We'll have those. Nobody freak out.
Let's see. MLB trivia. What pitcher beat his former team after being traded away at the deadline?
What pitcher beat his former team after being traded away at the deadline?
I'm not gonna lie, I have zero.
I've been out of the loop on the happenings in baseball. I don't know, Rack. I don't know. You want to give me a clue?
While you're giving the clue, let's see. It's awful. It takes forever. Montgomery.
Yeah.
We had Montgomery, I think, Devil Doc in like tier 3, I believe. Devil Doc.
No, further down than that, but he was in there.
Yeah.
He was in there. I I don't like Montgomery.
I
He's not even. Is he even a running back? Like, it's like people don't know what to do with him, and he just defaulted to running back because they didn't have anybody else.
for the baseball question. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wait, and I'm not even thinking. Let's move on. Yeah,
I'm gonna miss Montgomery. Yeah, we're not even on the right sport at this point.
I mean,
At this point,
I
Scotty.
knew it was Montgomery. I'm like, give me a hint, and he gave us the name, and we still didn't get it, Chris.
Oh,
he gave
my
us the name. That was a good hint, and we still missed it.
I mean, we're just on a roll tonight.
We are your sports experts in the Twitch field, guys. Come here for all the sporting knowledge.
How have we been online for almost 2 years? Going on 2 years. Actually, it's a year and a half. 2 years in December. We got some time, actually.
It is 2 years in December.
There we go.
Well, let's just go with that.
Is this the toilet bowl show? Yes, it is. Broncos. Of course it is. What is that basketball behind you, says G-Girl? That is my Nikola Jokic signed autographed basketball. Obviously, I'm a big Nuggets fan here locally in Denver, so I really, to have a big MVP back-to-back, sitting here. I got it in an auction a while back when he was like literally nothing. He wasn't like anything. He was good, but he wasn't Jokic good now. But he is, yeah, he's gonna take us to the championship this year. Again, more amazing.
Cuban put me on blast. He's like, Rocky's employee doesn't pay attention to baseball. That checks out. Hey, I don't work on the baseball side of things. Okay,
Scotty,
yeah,
we're in rough shape tonight.
It's hard to keep focused on baseball when the team isn't playing great. Chris, not great.
Is that a Nuggets jersey autograph? It's not autograph. No, it's just a regular, just a regular jersey. No autographs there. Jokic should be great on the Lakers. No, he wouldn't, because the Lakers are trash.
They would ruin him.
They would ruin him.
He wouldn't. The last place on earth he'd want to be is LA.
Cold like the Rocky. Of Coors Light Field.
Coors Light Field. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just Coors. It's the Banquet Field. Banquet or Banquet, if you will.
Yes. All right. Well, with all that being said, guys, I'm going to throw the Reckoning. Can you throw the Discord and our socials in the chat one more time? And we are going to, we're getting to the top of the hour here, so we're going to wrap things up. And we will be back here on Wednesday night. So, by the way, McGibby, or no, Reckoning. If you can't say something nice, your favorite mod, you're our only mod. And Reckoning, you absolutely crush. You absolutely crush.
That is as good as I'm gonna get. Is that you are our only mod? That's a positive thing, and we do appreciate it, Rec. We do.
No, you absolutely crush. We actually need another mod. So if you guys know any other mods that like hanging out in sports channels that just are off the rails, hey, go ahead and let them know we exist. There we go. At this point, it should be Keystone Light Field.
I cannot comment. I cannot confirm or not confirm that might be a name change in the future. G-Girl, Scotty Rant, not tonight. Usually that occurs on Wednesdays. Sometimes it add in on Sundays, but usually Wednesdays for the Scotty Rant. So I'll have one ready to go. I might just rant on my partner here on Wednesday. I'm not sure.
You should. That's a completely valid response and option to go on a rant. But we are going to wrap things up tonight. We are at the top of the hour here. So we are going to let you guys just have your sanity back and get through to your start of your work week, your school week, whatever you got going. So thank you guys all for being a part of the stream, being a part of all of our fantasy football tier rankings. We have a lot coming up this Wednesday and moving forward all the way to the start of the football season. We have a lot of fun surprises coming your way, so make sure you guys stick around with that. Our website is almost done, so we're going to get that rolling with all of our links to our podcast. If you miss a show, if you do anything on anything like other networks, Twitter, Twitch, anything else, we're on all of them. So make sure you go check us out on all of those. They're rotating here at the bottom, TikTok, everything. So go ahead and give us some love there. We would appreciate it. And we'd love to see familiar faces on all of our social media platforms. Otherwise, again, have a great start to your work week, great start to your school week, great start to whatever week you got coming up. We'll get you to Wednesday, and it's all downhill from there. So we're kind of that benchmark just to get you through halfway. Have some laughs, have some fun. Maybe you learn some things on occasion here in this show. You never know.
Yeah.
You never
Maybe
know.
not tonight, but in general, we try. We try. Make sure you guys are here Wednesday night. Anybody asking about the Fantasy Football League, make sure you're here.
Big
Wednesday.
announcements.
If you are interested in getting in on those, Wednesday is the night to join. Make sure you're there. We'll break down details and how that's going to work, because we haven't figured it out yet. So that's why it's going to be Wednesday, Chris.
Yeah.
Which means we may not have it figured out by Wednesday, but that's bringing you guys in either way. So appreciate the new people in here that came over, whether it was from G Girl's Raid, which again, thank you so much, G Girl. I'm trying to go back up in this chat. Medic Gibby, great stream. Glad I found you very entertaining, even if it's to just make fun of us or whatever. I'm as long as we're entertaining, Chris. That's the goal, right?
And guys, like this is like. We never have like this stuff going on ever. So Scotty always makes the graphics, but
Devil Doc, Devil Doc's like, you want me to mod Blush? So maybe we have another mod
Devil Doc
potentially.
Hey, we would love to have you, man.
G Girl vouched for Devil Doc, so maybe moving forward we could add a second mod, not a doc. Wow.
I'm a sports guy 24. Devil Doc, let's talk, man. I'll DM you. I'll DM you. Let's get something going for sure. So thank you guys so much. We always leave you here, and make sure that you guys, again, go out there, have a great start to your work week. Be a good person, first of all. Just go out and be good everyone out there. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to be a good person. Number 2, go live in the moment. I always tell you this. Live in the moment at any point this week where you're just putting the phone down, enjoying the people around you. You won't regret it. Like, we get so involved with like busyness and work and school and phones and internet. Put it all down and enjoy the people around you. Go do that once between now and Wednesday.
I was going to say, except for Sunday and Wednesdays. In that case, get on the internet.
And yeah, get in here. For sure. But other than that, love you guys. And again, we will see you back here on Wednesday or Sunday night.
Wednesday night, Chris.
We're done.
It
We're
wouldn't.
By the way,
beautiful disaster. Thank you guys so much. We love you. We're signing off.
We're gonna send you over to Mitch Brucey. He's a fantastic drummer and great music. You will be entertained the rest of your night. I guarantee it. Go give him some love. Give him a follow. We rated him before. Stay around for him for a little bit. Give him a follow. He's great.
And for anyone concerned, I will be drug testing Chris in between the shows for Wednesday. So
no more ayahuasca.
There's a potential suspension on the line here, depending on what the drug test comes back with. But we can't have this, Chris. We can't have it.
I'm cold turkey on the ayahuasca for sure. Okay. It's not happening. All right, love you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you Wednesday.
Love you.